Hello everybody, Andrew Casey at Hypersanity Books for Kids. Today I'm talking about unofficial stories. Should you write them? Should you read them? I will touch on some pros and cons, touch into a little bit of fan fiction, and I'll have some final thoughts at the end. With this video, I will say I am 95% against unofficial stories. For now, we'll just get into it. Number 1. Zack Zombie. My introduction to the Minecraft books was with my son, going shopping and talking about different book series that he might be into at his age. And he talked about a book collection, so we grabbed the book collection of 28 books. There are more that have come out since. And within this collection, it was the first introduction to the books. And I didn't realise at the time, but it's an unofficial story. It's not canon, and it is sometimes independently created, though it wasn't the case with the Minecraft books. However, I think it strays away from the source material that it comes from, and a lot of people do publish this sort of genre, and I don't agree with unofficial books. Number 2, nostalgia. Sometimes there can be nostalgia as to the reason to want to read certain books or write them. And with the Minecraft books, there's no exception. A lot of people love the franchise, and it's been around for a long time. I can't believe how the game has gone through so many updates and is still played today. There are a lot of games that are different from when I was younger to what is commonly used as the type of game that people play frequently. One thing I don't like with Minecraft is there are a lot of independent gamers that do create different games, and it requires more Minecraft coins or whatever it takes to keep flipping the bill to try out these different things. And then I think with Fortnite, it's the same type of thing. There's so many games that get created within the game, though with Fortnite, you're not paying for the extra games to try, you're just paying for skins and sometimes for the battle pass. So I do think there are some pros and cons within the franchise. And moving back to the topic of the stories, I do see how it can pump out a lot of stories just from how there are so many different updates to focus on an unofficial story within the Minecraft universe. Number 3, other independent works. I have reviewed Dean Hanson's book on this channel, The Spider Apocalypse, and it was his own independent work. And he has written another story, Trapped in Roblox. With this story, it is an unofficial story, and I did hear from his father as well, by corresponding, that did get into some trouble later on writing the story, and with the certain legal ramifications that can come forward, thankfully it worked out well, because through copyright and things, yes, the book did get taken down for a time, and it's back up. And just to make a point, he wrote a second book. I have had a look at the first book, and I do say with the unofficial story, he was writing his own original idea using the Roblox universe, or a reason to be trapped in that type of world, with a heavy focus of the theme and story being on Roblox. So there is a certain part to do your due diligence, and I think it is high risk to write an unofficial story. Number 4, unofficial poetry. I know of a book, and I won't reference it for 2 reasons. One, it's on the horror franchise, and it's focused around certain characters. And secondly, it got pretty messy for someone. And the book started off as a poetry book from perspective of different people within horror stories. And from there, once the book got more attention, there is a delayed problem that comes along within a lawsuit. And for certain legal reasons, it's hard to talk about that within this channel. So there is a lot of reason not to focus on unofficial stories. And because of the use of copyright and characterization, it did go past those rules. Now that could also be argued with certain books and reviews and videos that I've done on YouTube, though I do try to follow the rules the best that I can to try not to get too close to the borderline point. And one point is sometimes you can use up to 9 seconds of footage. Different from music, it has to be a lot less, unless you're paying for the licensing. But when it comes to certain videos, yes, you can use up to 9 seconds of footage. Anything more, and it's going to get flagged. So sometimes you're better off to try to keep to 7 seconds instead of 9 seconds. And that's what I talk about with getting away from that borderline of trouble. Number 5, you read one, you read them all. I found this was problematic with Beast Quest. Yes, they are children's books, though you read one, you read them all. And it's the same for the Minecraft Diary. Yes, there might be a theme within each book that has a focus on the story, and I have read the first 7 books, though there isn't too much more of a difference to it, and it does have that feel that you've read them all. Unlike what Dean Hansen did with his 2 books, it was different focused, and I think there was something more within the story doing something unofficial, though coming up with an original idea. I don't agree with publishing the book, however, he had a lot of guts to do it, and the books have had some good reviews, and he has done quite well with his 2 books. Number 6, practice early writing. Sometimes there can be some early writing ideas from this type of story, and because there are a lot of pictures within the book, that can also add to some of the inspiration. One idea my son came up with was Pig the Pug books. He had stickers that came with a certain collection and worked on writing his own story, looking from page to page and how things are written, to then using certain stickers to help express a story within a notebook. And from here, changing certain ideas can come with your own original idea. And that's one of the points, your own original idea for characterization. Number 7, Steve. A lot of people who play Minecraft know who Steve is. Well, in the unofficial book, Steve is one of the main characters that the zombie talks to as his friend. And that's where the disconnect comes from an unofficial story. It's just the same if I was to work on my Dark Sparrow franchise and try to incorporate Superman into there and call it an unofficial story. It would get me into a lot of trouble due to copyright. So again, I do stress on this point. I do not suggest anyone to work on writing unofficial stories, and certain ideas may come through, but they're slim pickings and slim chances, especially if you take traditional publishing routes or even hybrid publishing routes to get an investor to invest into your work. You can still get into a bit of trouble. Working on it independently within self-publishing routes, same sort of thing applies. There has to be certain rules to follow. And again, I don't understand why Steve had to be a heavy focus within the Minecraft books. Number 8, Scholastic. Scholastic is one of the biggest publishing houses in the world, and I don't understand why a big publishing house would even look into this type of market. But again, the Minecraft books have gone well, and in some reviews they have not been received well. And sometimes it's just turning a profit. Again, I have my own opinions, and I don't understand why a publishing house such as Scholastic would invest into this type of project compared to self-publishing routes. Number 9, complaining parents. There have been some complaints with the Minecraft books where a mother declared that there were certain racial slurs within the story and not good for her children. The thing was, this person with this particular case through CBS made it about herself. And the story has nothing to do with that type of subject matter. If we're going to compare Steve to his friend the Creeper who explodes and to the zombie, it just does not make sense to turn the story into a subject matter that it is not about. And this is one of the problems when parents do get too involved with certain stories, trying to change too much of the world around them. And I don't think some of the complaining is necessary. As I have said, I've got my own complaints and my own concerns, because with certain people following this channel, I wouldn't recommend taking that type of risk. And again, I disclose this other point, creating your own original idea. Number 10, final thoughts. With one of the biggest final thoughts, the book was not written for adults. They are written for children. I am not the target audience, neither are the parents. The target audience are for younger readers, and I think to argue against myself, and for some people who do have the interest, they may not necessarily be bad books to read. I think there can be some point where they may be engaging to get other young people into reading, especially if they do enjoy the Minecraft franchise. then maybe this is a book series to consider for your children or grandchildren. So from there, yes, I have my certain opinions, and I think there are some opinions where maybe it may not necessarily be right for you, whether you like them or not. However, that's it for today. Hit like, subscribe, comment. I'll be touching on some other stories and other unofficial stories at a later day, but that is another story that shall be told another time.